there will be hell to pay. President Trump tweeted that if the hostages are not released by the time he becomes president, there will be hell to pay, caps lock. This was widely supported by, I think, all Israelis, left to right, of all backgrounds. And I think a lot of Israelis felt that finally this was the right attitude, rather than the disastrous attitude that has reigned for the last year and 2 months, that Israel needs to negotiate the release, that Israel needs to be pressured to give things to Hamas. Finally, the correct attitude was projected, and by no less than an incoming president, that said, release the hostages. You actually have no right to invade a country, kidnap people from their beds on the Shabbat morning, and then expect the invaded country to negotiate their release and to be pressured to negotiate. So the notion that there is hell to pay is exactly the right attitude, and I will only ask for the American president to go all the way with it. And not just with the Palestinians, not just with Hamas, with Qatar, with Egypt, with Turkey. Anyone who has aided and abetted this notion that Israel has to be pressured to release its own people, they are the ones that finally the equation is flipped and there will be hell to pay. We can start with Qatar, which is not a good player in any of it. Qatar has been busy 24/7 trying to essentially defend Hamas as their asset, so far very successfully. They have never promoted any kind of goodwill interests, and there's a lot of leverage on Qatar. The US has a base there. It could threaten to move it to a much nicer country like United Arab Emirates. Ultimately, without American protection, Qatar is nothing. It's an oil well. If there's no American protection, there's a lot of countries around Qatar that would love to have that oil well. Egypt gets substantial military support from the United States. Turkey is supposed to be a NATO country and behave that way. It doesn't. And of course, Hamas. Israel has been pressured in a way that I think is unprecedented to supply its enemy at a time of war. If Israel can be released from all these commitments, no electricity, no water, no supply, and make it clear that Israel's under zero obligations to the people who hold the hostages until they are released.